Go. Brain on, popcorn ready, let's do this. Waiting for the iconic Amberly Lago, one of my favorite human beings on earth right now. We're gonna get her. Oh, what's up, Moggy? Jesse 2.0. We're getting Amberly on right now. No big deal.
Yeah. What's up, Rach? Amberly. Looks like they were a little bit. Yeah. There she is.
I'm like, are we connected? I was going to try to join you from outside, and I don't know if it made a difference or not, but
I think we had a little technical difficulties. Minor setback. No big deal.
no big deal. You know what? It's sometimes I think the hardest thing to do is just to actually connect. And I'm like, okay, we're connected. Here we are.
We got this.
Let me scoot back a little
The
bit.
CLS audience is very engaging and very loyal, and they're obsessed with you and the episodes, so they're going to be commenting a lot. Carrie, I see you. Rach, Tamara, ask those questions in the chat. Amberly's going to answer them all. How you doing, Amberly?
I am good. I have to say, I was in my office most of the day today with sticky pads and notebooks everywhere and all this stuff, and I got your text message, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love you. You just bring such joy into my life every time I get to talk to you or I get a message from you. And
I appreciate it so much. You did?
Yeah, I got down and did some push-ups to get ready for you.
Let me see what's up. Oh my god, you're not playing around.
Wait. Let me turn it. I can push it up to the side.
That's awesome. I love it. And let me just give you the proper introduction that you deserve from my audience who may not be familiar with you, even though they probably are. Amberly is the definition of resilience, heart, and grit. She's an entrepreneur, speaker, TEDx speaker, author, amazing podcast host, just an overall unbelievable human being. Our episode on the CLS Experience broke records just yesterday before I was even promoting it. We have now 20,000 downloads and climbing. So the audience has spoken. They're obsessed with you, Amberly. They love you. We're going to have a ton of fun tonight. Are you ready for us?
I'm ready. Are y'all ready? It's so good to see you. Hi, Rachel. Hi,
I love
Rosie.
your accent. You have the best accent ever.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. I'm just really honored to be on your amazing show. And I have to say, I've never had an introduction quite like the one that you made for me when we're on the actual podcast. I was like, oh my goodness. And I think, sometimes you hear these things like TEDx speaker, best-selling author and all these things, but I think it's really important to share that just 4 years ago, didn't know really what I was doing or where I was going to go. And I just had this idea that I wanted to write a book so I could really empower and inspire others and give them hope. And, I've been a coach for 25 years now, but not the kind of coaching that I do now. And I think sometimes when we're going through a really tough time, it's hard to see the good that can, possibly come out of that experience. But I can just say what I want to share the most of is everything that we go through, we really do grow through. And it gives us an opportunity to take those lessons that we've learned and heal and move together.
100%. I love it. First of all, in case you couldn't tell, I'm obsessed with you. I love that we connected like just recently through our mutual friend, Dave Meltzer. Shout out to Dave. But you and I instantly hit it off. And it was like, of course, we have to get Amberly on the CLS Experience. I just feel such a connection to you. And I just respect and admire you so much. So to be honest with you, the introduction for me was kind of easy because that's how I really feel about you.
Well, thank you. It was instant connection. You know what it is so my next book I want to write is called Find Joy for the Journey. And it's all about really finding joy. Because I think it's important in life, no matter what we're doing, that, it's a level or you get this one project done, or maybe you get a certain amount of followers on Instagram or a certain amount of downloads. It's really finding joy along the way. And that is what you do for so many. You bring so much joy into their lives. And I think it's important today, just getting your text message was really a reminder for me to, okay, get out of my head, get out of the notebooks for a little while, stay in my heart, have some fun, get out in nature, get some sunshine, move your body, like all the things that bring joy. Those are things that bring joy. Connect with someone that you love. You know, that life is about having those moments that along the journey that are meaningful. And so I appreciate being here with you and so many people that are here. Hi, Carrie, Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy. I love
And
all
yeah,
of it
I'm
you
so
just said.
glad David. And I'm sorry, what?
No, I love everything you said, and it's so true. Like connecting, like, and you and I immediately exchanged numbers, and now we're very good friends. And I can't wait to meet you sooner than later, and obviously eventually share a stage with you and so forth. But I just love the connection. You're so right. Like, just get out there, connect, get some sunshine, movement, the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yes.
we,
And I was so glad David Meltzer introduced us.
he's the
I
best.
watched your live together, and you guys are like, you need to take the show on the road.
We
I could be
are.
your backup dancer.
What do you mean? You be in the forefront. That's where you belong. But yeah, we're gonna take this show on the road 100%. We're gonna ask some questions. You ready?
Let's do this.
What's up, BK? I see you and Rach. So the title of the episode, right? What did you think about it? Because
I laughed.
I just want to be honest. I was going to hit you up on the side and be like, "Are you cool with this title?" Because I take great pride in the names of each episode and so forth, as continue to break records. But then I was listening to the beginning again, and like the fact that your husband gave you the nickname and you were laughing about it, I thought you'd really appreciate it.
I did. And I don't know if he saw that on Facebook, but I was like, my husband is going to love this episode because you call it "just won't die," like, and that's what my husband says. Oh, don't worry, you just won't die. I mean, you've gone through hell and back, you just won't die. I don't know, he just doesn't go there. And so then my girlfriend just gave me a t-shirt that says "not dead yet."
I know. That's awesome. One of the
Yeah.
other things that you talk about in the episode that I immediately fell in love with and I loved, and I want you to tell the audience a bit about what you mean by it, Amberly, is gift and desperation. That was deep to me.
Yeah, I think at my darkest moment, and when I say darkest moment, that can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. And for me, that meant my world got really small. Like I went from having this big life and this big career to I lost my job. I lost my confidence. I lost my hope. I wasn't talking to any friends or hanging out with friends. And I was really depressed, and to the point where I was actually thinking thoughts like, my husband could find another wife and my kids could find another mom that would be better. And I was about ready to give up. And I think that all of us have that light inside of us, and mine was just barely a flicker, but it gave me enough courage to ask for help.
Yeah.
And when I say gift of desperation, I think that I was so desperate to feel better and do better and be the mom that I always wanted to be to my kids, and be the husband that I know that the wife that I know that my husband wanted to marry. And so the desperation I had was I was willing to do whatever it took to get better mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, because I felt broken in every way. I had lost my connection to God. I was not praying anymore. And so just the act of being so desperate led me to pray first, to ask for help, and then ask a friend for help. And so if anybody is struggling today, who's on here right now, I see you. If anyone is struggling, and I mean struggling, you don't have to be on your deathbed like I was, like in a hospital bed. You can be struggling in your entrepreneurial journey where you're
Yep.
thinking you're the only entrepreneur that launched a course that failed, or you're only person that is married that is really struggling in their marriage, or that's the only mom that is going through some hard times with their teenagers, or whatever it might be. But ask for help. I used to always think I had to do it alone, and you don't have
Me
to do
too.
that. You're never alone. Like, ask
Yeah.
for help.
It's so beautiful. And then also, once you start asking for support and you realize that on the other side of that, there's rewards, then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, that's actually addicting. Now, when I don't know something or I need some help, like I put my ego aside and we ask, and then we know what's on the other side of that. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. You start to get momentum with it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all about, and I did used to think I had to do it all alone. Like I was like, I got this. I can do this. But there's a time where we do have to give ourselves some grace and then, ask, and we learn, and the people who teach us, they get a reward in being able to teach us things. Or that's how I feel anyway, that I love when people ask me questions and that I can help them. In fact, that's the reason I do a mastermind, is because I want to see people grow. And I don't know if you've participated or participate in masterminds, but that's one of the things that really moved the needle on my business. Not just my business, but my
Likewise.
life, my mindset, everything. And it's when people come together and they share their experience, and people that have already paved the way to success can really help one another along their journey. So I love the idea of coming together in community.
I agree 100%. And I have several masterminds. In fact, Dave was actually the special guest speaker in one of them. And it got me thinking, as you and I are speaking right now, as my masterminds continue to grow and so forth, I'm going to get you as a special guest speaker, but we're not going to tell anyone. You're just going to show up one day.
Okay, awesome.
But the audience would go absolutely crazy for you.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. Thank
Done.
you. Yes, and I'll have to have you as well.
I would love that. And also, one of the things about the episode, like I always take pride in saying, like, we might laugh, we might cry, but we're going to go on a ride. You have the audience crying along with you, especially when we're talking about your grandpa's story with the shovel, right? Just start digging. Like, why did that moment make you so emotional? And then also, like, what does that really mean to you? Start digging.
Well, you know what? My grandfather used to always say, you've got a shovel in your hand. You can lean on it and pray, or you can start digging. And I am big on prayer. And so I start my day with prayer, but I think it's really important. It's just like a lot of people talk about the word manifesting, and I believe that you can manifest things, but I believe that you have to do the work. You have to take action steps. And so I could have laid in the hospital bed and prayed and prayed and prayed for a day when I would walk again, but I had to do the work. I had to, little by little, step by step, learn to stand up again, which really took months in itself. I mean, I was in the bed for 3.5 months. And so no matter what you're doing, you can want it and wish for it and pray for it. But if you don't take the action steps, you're probably not going to see a big change. And so I think that you just have to do it. You just have to start, and don't put that thing off. It's kind of like, and I think I got emotional about that part because my grandfather is just so dear to me. He passed away about a year after my accident. And I feel like he kind of is he's my guardian angel and watches over me. And so
Definitely.
I think, Craig, I think you have a way of making people feel comfortable about sharing their story and their journey with you. And so you just took me back to a moment of how, somebody's words can change your life. And I know that for me, my grandfather was that person who said a lot of things that really changed my life.
Yeah, and I know he's your biggest fan. He's so proud of you. And also, thank you so much for pulling back the curtain and getting so vulnerable and deep with that stuff. Because I know that message is going to hit home for so many people, especially like you just said, like you could lean on the shovel or you can actually get to work and start digging. Manifestation is a beautiful thing, but manifestation without action is kind of useless. So you have to combine them. I love that you said that. Amberly, something else that you always talk about that I love is, like, how do you build resilience? And then it goes back to this that you always say, and I think this is so key because a lot of people always ask me, like, can you build resilience or do you have to be born with it? And the answer is kind of this, because you always say this: do things that scare you often, get used to that feeling and do them anyway. And by doing that, you kind of build grit and resilience, right?
Yeah, I'm grateful for all the challenges that I've had in my life, because not only has it built grit and resilience within me, But everything that I've gone through and come out the other side, I can now share that experience with someone else and give them hope that they can get through those hard times too. And so I think that you can absolutely build grit, and it takes really deciding what it is that you want to do, and then being committed to taking action to doing it every day. And look, things are scary. I get scared. I get nervous even before going on live on Instagram with you, because it's something that I don't do a lot of. I
Really?
sometimes get I don't, and you inspire me to do more of that. Actually,
Thank
I
you.
mean, I'm
Good.
serious.
Good.
It really has inspired me just to have more fun and, just show up and
That's
do it
it.
anyway. And that's the thing, is like, it's progress over perfection. Just do it, just start it, and done is better than perfect. I mean,
Love that.
I mean, you know what? I did my book in Audible. When I read my book in the recording studio in Audible, I found so many mistakes. It's a published book. I had an editor. There are still mistakes. And I'm like, oh, well, it's done.
That's
It's
okay.
out there,
Yeah.
You could sit there and try to perfect everything, or you can just go for it. And that's, and that's what I'm like, just go for it. I mean, you should see my office right now. It's a mess.
Done is better than perfect. I would love to see the office, but also I'm so glad that I'm inspiring you to show up on these lives, because look, there's never a perfect time to be a parent, to start a job, whatever the case may be. Show up messy if you have to, but just show up. And it's like, and like we were talking about, like reps, repetition will breed that confidence. It'll start to become second nature. So for the audience listening, take that message and apply it. Do something specifically over the next 24 hours that scares you. You acknowledge it, but then do it anyway. And then you'll gain some more spiritual light and some more strength and resilience. Love this.
Yeah. And you know what? Something that you do already and I do too, and I think it's one of the reasons that we connected, is we both are really big on moving our bodies. And I cannot stress enough how much just moving your body, just working out or going for a walk or doing one push-up, starting with one push-up, build your grit, build your confidence. And people ask me actually a lot, they're like, well, how do you work out when you live with chronic pain? And I'm like, I do what I can. I always say, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. So if I'm having a bad flare day, with my leg, I still can go to the gym and sit on a bench and do some bicep curls or the chest press or triceps or something. And I feel better mentally, and all the endorphins that are released in your body physically
Yes.
makes you feel better too. So that is one way also to feel better, to do better, to build grit.
I love that, which brings me to the next question, because I take some from the audience because they love you and they're so engaging. This is more on the lighter side. It's a perfect segue from what you just said. They want to know how you look so damn good. What is your fitness routine these days?
Oh my goodness. Who said that?
One of my
Nancy?
clients.
Oh, Jonica. Oh my goodness. Thank you. You know what? I think so much of it is about it's everything we do. It's what you eat. It's how much you sleep. The stress levels, trying to keep your stress levels down, which is sometimes really hard. But working out is what helps me with that. And I used to work out, and I used to be obsessed with calorie counting and
Really?
cardio and weights. And I was a crazy person. Like, I would do Muay Thai, kickboxing.
Ooh.
I would do Krav Maga. I would
I
run in
love
the
Krav Maga.
canyons. Yeah, I got a yellow belt. And
Really?
oh yeah, let's go at it.
Let me see your stance.
I haven't done it in a while. My ex-boyfriend was an instructor, so I lost it in the breakup. But
Understood.
you know what? Now, I think if you don't have to go crazy with these crazy workouts, I think that as long as you just move your body, even if it's 10, 20, 30 minutes. Start with something. I think a lot of times people think, well, I have to work out for an hour. And you know what? I have a pull-up bar in my closet here. I've got a Swiss ball over there. I will get down and do some push-ups. And sometimes I don't have an hour to work out. I don't have time to go to the gym. So I do what I can in the backyard and, get outside in nature. So I think it's really, important what you eat is so much of it. And I had to really eliminate a lot of stuff out of my diet after I was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome.
I understand completely. Thank you for sharing that. We'll wrap it up with this one. You say this often, and I want the audience to understand this because it's such a beautiful word, and I love the way that you articulate it. Gratitude is alchemy.
Yeah, I am so big on gratitude practice. And so every day, I'm not going to lie, every day I wake up and the first thing I actually want to do is grab my phone. A lot of times I want to grab my phone and get straight into work or straight onto social media and see what Craig has posted, or I want to see what's going on Instagram or whatever it may be. And I stop myself and I make sure that I say a prayer to what I'm grateful for, to God for what I'm grateful for. I write in a journal, and it's short. It doesn't have to be pages of journaling. Sometimes it is. Most of the time it's chicken scratch in a notepad. And then I have, actually, she's my sponsor, and I text her every single morning 3 things I'm grateful for. So when you express what you're grateful for, it really gets you focused on the blessings in your life and the good in your life. And when you focus on the good just keeps getting better. And I think that, we have the ability to change the way that our mind thinks. And I used to focus on all the things that I couldn't do, like when I was stuck in the hospital bed and I couldn't walk, or my legs deformed, or, I just didn't look the way that I used to. I couldn't do the things, couldn't run. I couldn't run after my kids, all those things. And I was spiraling into a depression. And I noticed when I really focused on what I was grateful for and I wrote it down and I expressed it, it shifted the way that I thought. And so it really does show you what you can do instead of what you can't do, and what you do have instead of what you don't have. And so it's truly alchemy. It changes your life.
This is so deep and so profound, and I love it. It's why I love you, because perception really is everything, right? Like, think about it. Like, if after the accident, like if you look down at your leg and you played like victim mentality, like, why me? Like, what are people going to think? That's one route. Or you could look at it from a different perspective and say, I can use my story as a beacon of hope and transformation and resilience. And obviously that's what you're doing now. But like, the same person can look at the same story, or 2 different people, and have completely different perspectives, and both their lives will be completely different. I'm such a big advocate and believer in perception is everything.
Oh, it sure is. Just perception is everything. And I like how you said, we can say, why me? Or for me, I'm like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And my default now, when something doesn't go as planned, is I'm like, okay, what am I learning from this? How can I do it different? What's my part in it? Where did I go wrong? Did I, what am I mean, I don't know if I told you this. I don't remember if I told you that my daughter and I were hit by a car when we were riding our little razors.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was crazy. So this is the 3rd time I've been hit by a car. So we both got taken out. Luckily, we
won't die.
We just won't die, I tell you. So luckily we got thrown and not rolled over. And as we were being loaded up in the ambulance, when I knew she was strapped to the gurney, and we hadn't done the CAT scan or anything yet, but I knew we were going to live, that we just wouldn't die. One of my first thoughts was, okay, what did I not learn from being hit by a car before that I can learn now? What am I learning from this? What do I need to learn? And so we got to the emergency room, and the lady that was in the bed next to us was so cranky. She was kind of mean, like mean to the nurses and doctors. And every time a doctor or nurse came over to us, I was like, thank you for all you do. I know you're so busy. I'm so grateful we're okay. It could have been so much worse. Well, don't you know, we got our tests, we got our CAT scans done faster. We got in and out of that hospital faster. We were out of the hospital in 5.5 hours. And I think that when you express gratitude to other people and you're kind to other people with no expectation, but you're really
Yes.
doing that from your heart, good things happen. When you're good to people, people are good to you, in my
100%.
experience.
100%. Love all of this, in case the audience can tell by the smile on my face. Listen, Amberly, I could speak to you for 10 hours straight. I love you so much. You have such value, and obviously the connection is as real as it gets. Leave the audience with one final tool, one final rant, anything, one final gem or nugget for the rest of the night.
Well, I just left it. Wait, I have to say, she's saying I'm a cat in my life. So maybe I'm a cat. That's my spirit animal.
Joannica.
I just want to say thanks to everybody who joined in. And, you know, that I always say that no matter what your circumstances are, sometimes things don't go as planned. And I think a lot of us experienced a lot of things that didn't go as planned over this past year, year and a half. That there is a way to find joy, to get through the hardest times, that transformation is possible and hope is available. And if I can leave you with anything today, is that if you are struggling, whether it's with your business or your relationship or sobriety, or you need to be sober, or anything that you may be struggling with, I promise that if you just reach out and ask someone for help, it can change your life. So I love you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that we've got to know each other, and you always brighten my day, whether it's through a text message or we get to talk like this. You always put such a big smile on my face. So I'm so grateful for you, and I can't wait. I feel like we already know each other for years, but we haven't known
100%.
each other that long.
I
But it
know,
was
it's
just
crazy.
instant connection.
But that's how it should be in life. Like, surround yourself with people that you really feel aligned to. I feel all the same feels right back at you, Amberly. My audience is obsessed with you. For people that might just be meeting you for the first time, where can they catch up to you? And I just want to say to the audience, listen to her podcast. It's unbelievable. And her book. If you're not a reader, download the Audible. Where else can they find you?
You're amazing. I just love you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you are so awesome. You know what? You can find me right here on Instagram at Amberly Lago Motivation. I've got links up in my bio. Actually, I just have my podcast up in my bio today instead of my link tree. But you can find me at amberlylago.com to get some free downloadable assets, like a free downloadable gratitude journal and all that stuff. But yeah, I reach out to me and say hello, because I love connecting with people. And especially if you're friends with Craig, I'm like, yes, you're a friend of mine. So thank you so much for having me on live. You made me step out of my comfort zone today and go live. So
That's what it's all about. Good friends challenge each other and bring yourself out of our comfort zone. So the pleasure was all mine. For the audience, hit her up, take her up on that. Let her know that you listened to our episode or you were at the live today. Amberly, so much love for you. I can't wait to meet you in person. With the rate our friendship's going at, it'll be sooner than later. Keep on spreading your wings. Keep on doing your thing, inspiring so many. I'm your biggest fan, and we'll absolutely chat soon.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much. I sure appreciate you. I'll see you soon.
Have a good night.
Hey, bye.
Bye-bye. Too much fun. I love Amberly from the bottom of my heart. Our episode, and I know I say this every week, and I say this humbly as I can, every episode continues to break records. If you haven't listened to the episode on the CLS experience with Amberly Lago, what are you waiting for? You want to learn about grit and resilience? She is the definition of grit and resilience. Just dropped another program today, how to explode your podcast. We got the CLS membership, which is 25 people in the first hour. I'm so excited about that. With the masterminds, the Moonshot Masterpiece Experience online. Enjoy yourself. Guys, we just want to see everybody fly. 1 year ago today, I launched CLS. Did I know exactly how it would turn out? No. But I had a burning desire. I put together a vision, and I knew I didn't want to go back that way because I knew what that felt like. So for all you out there, I leave you with this. It's never going to be the perfect time, ever. Take messy action. Put one foot in front of the other. You might make mistakes, but you'll get better. You'll adapt. You'll grow. You'll learn. Find what absolutely sets your soul on fire. Where does your heart take you to? Follow that and we'll make it work 100%. Life's too short not to try, not to sound too spiritual, but we only get one shot at this. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Have an unbelievable evening.